Good morning. This is Ozzy Beltran with Keller Williams Realty. Osvaldo Beltran, Keller Williams Realty. I'm here in La Quinta, and today is August 1st, and I'm bringing you an update on what's going on in today's market. The goal of today's update for me is really just to provide you with the right information on what we're seeing here in the market. There's a lot of headlines out there. They're showing, doom and gloom, and then there's the other side. Mortgage, lenders, realtors saying nothing's going on. This is the best moment to go out there and buy and sell, right? So you have two different things that you're hearing, and the idea really for me is just to provide you with the right information so that you're educated on what's going on in the market, and then that way you could actually make the best decision for yourself, right? So we're going to look at what's going on today. And for that, I'm just going to share information that I see here from our local MLS. That's the best information, as we know. The best way to really look at a particular market is really to look at what's going on in your market, in your area, right? So no two markets are necessarily the same, and even though the market might be going one way throughout California, that's just an average of everything that's going on. So we'll just really focus on diving into the numbers of what we're seeing here locally. And when I say locally, I'm talking about the Coachella Valley, right? Primarily the 9 cities that I'm really showing you numbers on is Palm Springs, Desert Hot Springs, Cathedral City, Rancho Mirage, Palm Desert, Indian Wells, La Quinta, Indio, and Coachella. So those are the 9 cities that I'm pulling data from. And if we look at just uh, the dashboard, I look at my MLS every morning. When I look at this right now, for those cities, what we're looking at is in the last week, there has been 316 new listings that have come on the market. Um, there has been 103, so about a third that has gone into escrow. From there, you could see that there has been 190 price changes done, and oops, let's go here and expired. There has been 94 properties expired. So, just for general purposes, new listings are any property that has been listed on the market for sale in those cities, active under contract or pending means properties that are currently in escrow. How you differentiate from those is active under contract is something that has just gone into escrow that most likely has contingencies, meaning the deal could fall through, buyer could back out, stuff like that. When it comes to pending, that's also an escrow, but typically pending is reserved for situations where there is no contingencies and the property is just pretty much just waiting to close, right? So uh, active under contract 103, pending 146. Properties that have expired, those are properties that have been listed for a particular time point in time, and the contract has expired. It's no longer showing up on the MLS. Contract needs to be renewed, etc. Right. So that's for the week. If we look at the last 24 hours, in the last 24 hours, there has been 106 properties that have gone into the MLS for sale. 31 properties have gone under contract. 70 have expired. So that gives you, in essence, really a snapshot of what we're seeing on the MLS itself. What we're going to do is we're actually going to go and look at some statistics, some numbers. And for that, I have this already pulled up. This is a tool that we have through our MLS. And I have already selected the 9 cities. They're all up there. And when we look at this first slide that we're looking at is months of inventory. So that gives us an idea of what's going on with the inventory, right, that we currently have. If we look at this here, this gives us information all the way until April of 2021. So it's a little bit over a year. And this is the months of inventory. So it progressively goes up. And what we could see here is just in the last month, Inventory has gone up. You could see that really gone going up there. And when we look at the actual numbers, if we, most of the time, most people are looking at what's going on today versus what happened last year. We have other measures here, but let's just start off with that. So currently versus a month, the same month a year ago. So right now, months of inventory is up. Uh, what that means is that there is more inventory essentially that there was last year, and it's in this point, year over year, you're looking at about 216%. When we look at just from this month to last month, so and by the way, the numbers, if you look at the numbers, are for June. We just finished July, so we don't have those numbers yet. But for July, we'll have to wait a few days to get the numbers. But June, uh, months of inventory was up already, just month over month, 58%. Now let's look at those homes for sale that are active for sale and homes that actually sold. If we look uh, at again the same metric here, current month versus the same month a year ago, we're going to look and see that properties for sale has gone up 122%. So there is more properties on the market. And if we look at that number, really look at this: June of 2021, 641 properties active for sale versus June of 2022, 1426. Right? That's pretty much doubled over double of what we had last year. So we also look at properties sold. Here you'll see that properties sold has gone down 29%, and that is 755 properties sold versus 1,068. Now if we look at month over month, there's also a decline here. So we went from 755, I'm sorry, we went from 912 in May to 755, and that's a decrease of 17%. Month over month, properties that have gone into escrow compared to last year, we're down 9.6%. Compared to from May to June, that number was up a little, 9.5, right? If I'm actually not going to even concentrate on that number over there. Let's look at days on market and sold versus list price. So here, what we look at is average days on market. So uh, from this last month in June to the previous year, that is down 22%. So uh, if we go year over year, it looks like days on market has gone down. Um, However, if we look at from June to May, there was really no change. So it was still an average of 27 days to sell a home, right? That's really what it means. When we look at sold versus original list price difference, what that means is what the property was listed for. Let's just say it's listed for 400,000. If it sells at 400,000, then it's sold at 100% uh, of what sale to listing price was. If it sells under, then that gives you an indication that it actually sold this percentage below. We had been seeing a lot of in a lot of communities where properties were actually selling for over asking price. So that's in essence, and we'll go over some other stats right now when we dive into a little bit more narrowed down into some of the cities, so you could look at what's going on, right? So here we look at year over year. So that is down. Um, you know, in June of 2021, properties on average were selling at 100% of listing price. Currently, we're at 99%, which is not much of a difference, right? 1%, but we'll dive deeper right now into those numbers. If we look at month over month, again, also there was a decrease there, just letting us know right now that properties are, this is on average, so properties are selling at asking or a little bit below asking. So room for negotiation, that's what it means for a buyer, right? Now, let me pull up, as I mentioned, I was going to pull up um, some numbers to really look at what it looks like, let's just say by city. So if we go into the city of Indio, look at these numbers here, these numbers reflect only the city of Indio. And city of Indio has, older properties that we're selling, around 350s, and you have properties down next to the Coachella Fest that are selling for almost for $1 million pretty much, right? So there's a big number of sample of communities, along with, let's not forget Shadow Hills, Sun City up there, right? 55 and older community. So big example here. What we're looking at here is unit sales 91. That is down from last year. So the amount of properties sold, and this is again from June, was 91, down 11% from last year. And city of Indio, median price has risen 35%. So that has continued to increase. Inventory has increased. So current inventory for June was at 225, and that was 104% versus last year. Days on market was down 32%. So properties were sitting on the market for a little bit less time. Sales versus list price, that was something we were talking about earlier. That is down 1% also here in the city of Indio. And this is sales of his original list price. And the difference between this one and that one is these here could have had one price reduction or two price reductions. And that's where there's a difference between original list price, right? So that is also down 2.7%. Sales above list price is down. So down 1.3%. So whereas a year ago, properties were still selling above list price, we are seeing properties now that are not necessarily selling above list price. So they're selling at or below list price. When we look at the stats on how soon some of these properties are sold, 57% are sold within 30 days, 98% is sold within 60 days, and 99% is sold within 90 days, right? So properties are still selling. They're just sitting on the market a lot longer. Months supply of inventory is up, meaning if today there was to be no more new listings coming up uh, into the future, how long would it take for the properties that are currently for sale at the same rate of what's going on right now? How long would it take for them to sell? So that's about 2.28 months supply of inventory. Median sales price per square footage is up. So this is Indio, but let's just check out another city and see how that's different. So let's go into Palm Desert, another big sample where you have multi-million dollar properties and condos and Sun City, 55 and older community, stuff like that. So let's look at their numbers and see how that differs. And here we go. Unit sales, 80. That is down 33% from last year. Median sales price is up 22%, as well as inventory, which is up 19.5%. Days on market is down 5. Sales to list price, down 1.1. Sales to original list price, down 2%. And you can see what the difference is on these here, where these were already closer to under actually 100%, where the ones in India were closer to 100%. So that's telling us that properties are selling on average a little bit below asking price. Sales above list price, here we go, down 26%. Again, properties that are selling for over asking, that is down 26%. Month supply is at 2 months really, and that is up 61% because there's just more inventory. Median sales price 365 square foot, that is up 20%. And then here we have, sorry, here we have properties sold within 30 days is 51%, sold within 60 days is 88%, and sold within 90 days is 96%. So that is what we're looking at as far as the Coachella Valley. I know that we're focusing on the Coachella Valley, but real quick here, let me just show you some of the stats that the California Association of Realtors came out with. And what they were showing here is that year to date, statewide home sales are down 10%. June's home state median home price was down 4%. And then existing single family home sales totaled 344,970 in June, and that was down 8% from May. So these are the numbers. This is what we're looking at here in the Coachella Valley. This just really gives you an idea of what the market is doing and how the market is reacting to everything here in the desert. Um, Generally speaking, really what we're seeing is that homes are taking a little bit longer to sell. We are seeing price reductions, properties that have been sitting for a while, or properties that were, you know, might have been overpriced to begin with. You're seeing price adjustments there, or they're going the expired way, right? So that's what's happening overall. If you are looking to sell, um, you know, as you saw there, medium sales prices are still up. So properties will sell at a fair price, obviously. And if you're looking to buy, um, there's still a chance to go out there and find something. Obviously, with more inventory, you have a lot less competition, which is something we have been experiencing for the last 2 years. You go out there and you put an offer on a property, and there's 10, 15 more offers. You're competing only on price, and you have to try to beat everybody else on price. And in today's market, we're seeing that you have a lot more leverage as a buyer to go in there and be able to negotiate, and which is key, especially because let's just go over what interest rates are going for right now. I think I had. Oh, here we go. So this is just today's mortgage rates. We go down here, and we're just going to look at the averages. So average rate for a $400,000 home, 20% down here in California with a 700 or 720 credit score. A third-year fix on average is going for 5.925 interest rate. I just checked with my lender in here. Um, he gave me some numbers on an FHA loan at 400,000. Their rate right now is at 5.625. Also, something that's going on right now for buyers that could be negotiated is buying down of points. What that means for you is really that when you buy down points, your interest rate is going down, which allows you to have a lower a mortgage payment, right? So even though you see a 5.625 interest rate on this example I have here, we play with the numbers, and just for example, so you could see on an FHA loan right now at 400,000 with a FICO score of 700, you would be getting an interest rate of 5.625. If you wish to buy 1 point, which would decrease your interest rate on that mortgage, currently right now you could buy 1 point, and that would put you down at 4.75. And to buy that down that point, it runs you about $4,000. Now, this is just an example right now. It all depends on what type of loan you're doing, what your FICO score is, what kind of down payment you're doing. So the buying down of points really depends on many scenarios. However, that option is there; it's available. You could always take advantage and buy down some points. In some cases, you check with your tax advisor; those are tax deductible, and that would allow you to even negotiate uh, points for a seller to pay for points. So your room for negotiation as a buyer is you know it's you have a lot more leverage in this case. So if you have any needs or any questions in the real estate market, let me know. I'm helping people buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Um, we have different strategies for investors. For those of you who want to just get started, feel free to reach out, and I could, you know, not only provide you the information that you need to be able to take advantage of today's market, but also just give you some, send you some listings and options when there's opportunities that come up. So thanks again. I mean, this was my first market update video and won't be the last one. Thank you for joining me and watching this. Bye bye.